I am super excited for today's video. As you read in the title, today I'm going to be exposing your book taste. And in order to do this, I made you guys a super accurate, 100% trusted, professional grade PowerPoint to expose what your favorite BookTok book says about you. Let's get straight into it. I'm so excited to expose you guys. Welcome to the BookTok Burn Book, where I'm going to be exposing what your favorite BookTok book says about you. I of course broke this down into 4 categories for you guys because I am just so sweet. Oh my god, guys, stop. You're embarrassing me. Stop. Guys, seriously, stop. Category 1 is Romantasy, aka magical men, trauma, and daddy issues. Kinda self-explanatory. Category 2 is romance, but most often referred to as yearning or I don't give a fuck. Bruh. If there's not yearning, I'm not there. The next category is thriller, but more accurately known as I low-key guessed that halfway through, but thanks, I guess. And finally, we have dark romance, which should be rebranded to red flags are just flags when you have rose-colored glasses on. Let's get into it. We're gonna start with the first category, which is magical men, trauma, and daddy issues. Starting off strong with everybody's favorite, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. If this is your favorite book, you talk a big game about being an independent woman, but you throw it all away the second you saw a hot tattooed fey man. Be honest with yourself now. You also idolize Recent and Farrah's bond, but you literally go non-verbal around your crush. So how is that supposed to work? The next book is The Cruel Prince. If this is your favorite book, you were obsessed with the toxic, confusing fey prince, but you literally crash out when a guy ghosts you. You also ignored every mention of a tail in the book because that weirds me out. Same also. And you secretly wanted to get wine drunk with Carden because who wouldn't? Like, let's be reasonable, the wine sounded cool. Like, I want to get wine drunk off fairy wine. Yeah, sign me up. The next book is Fourth Wing. If this is your favorite book, you were genuinely convinced that the rare dragon would have picked you as its rider. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that shit's funny because you literally would have slipped and died on the parapet, and you know that. I'm not even making fun of you. I would have also died, but like you would have died. You wouldn't have made it across the parapet, so bye. And you were also pretending that you were Violet in every scene with Xaden. Enough said. The next book is Powerless. If this is your favorite book, you romanticized the idea of being with Kai so much that you completely disregarded that you would have blocked a guy on the spot for calling you darling. Ugh. Like, I love Kai. Do not get me wrong. I love Powerless. I love Kai. Darling? Okay. You also cringed every time Peyton used plagues as a curse word because what the plagues?
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, bro.
I actually got the ick for myself. Ew. Okay, pretend I never said that. Moving on. The next book is Once Upon a Broken Heart. Look how cute this cover is also. If this is your favorite book, you're the type to say you're chill but then make a playlist about him after a week. You also got mad at Evangeline for making dumb decisions while simultaneously rooting for her to make even worse ones because you know you wanted her with the prince. You know you did, but you also knew he was bad, so you were like, I'm just a girl. So I would rate magical men, trauma, and daddy issues a 5 out of 5 stars because no notes, it's perfect. I love this category. Romantasy is probably my favorite genre of book. So you bet I relate to a lot of those things, but we're not gonna talk about that. The second category is yearning or I don't give a fuck. Bruh. The first book in this category that we're going to be talking about is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. If this is your favorite book, you wish you had an older brother purely so that you could get with his hot, emotionally unavailable friend. You don't even care about the brother. You just want the friend. And you also romanticize the idea of a friends with benefits situationship, all while knowing that you are way too emotional to hook up with a random guy and move on. You couldn't do it. So stop pretending that you can. You would not like a friends with benefits. Just accept that about yourself. But you love to read about one. And I'm not gonna say you're not right for that because I love to read about it too. The next book is Funny Story by Emily Henry. If this is your favorite book, you love an acts of service man. And you would marry a man on the spot if he remembered your exact coffee order and brought it to you on more than one occasion. Like, one occasion's enough. I say yes to the dress. Marriage now? Marriage now or marriage in 1 minute? Because You also romanticize living in a small town, but you literally panic when you run into someone you know at Target, so let's stop with that. Let's stop with the small town shit. We do not want to live in a small town. Moving on. Magnolia Parks. If this is your favorite book, you can't help but love a little drama. You don't get into it yourself, but you can't help but love it from afar, and that's why you keep your best friend around. You know that bitch is gonna have some drama, but you would never entertain a toxic relationship. You roll your eyes at BJ's behavior, but you would absolutely show up to a party just to accidentally bump into your ex. I read you, didn't I? I read you. Next up is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. If this is your favorite book, you are genuinely so wholesome that if you found your match, you would get married right away, no matter how young. If you found your match tomorrow, you would be married the next day. You've always been and will forever be a hopeless romantic, and there is nothing wrong with that. You are a little cutie pie. You are so sweet and cute, and you should go find your man, and y'all should get married tomorrow. Next up, we have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. If this is your favorite book, you're secretly into older guys, but only on specific occasions. And by specific occasions, I mean when they're hot as fuck. I know you see him on there. You also still haven't emotionally recovered from the paint scene. I haven't recovered, and I read this book weeks ago. The next book is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. If this is your favorite book, you now think coincidences are just the first step to finding the love of your life. And you swear up and down that you're immune to catching feelings, but you start putting together a wedding Pinterest board when he talks to you consistently for a week. So don't lie to yourself. You're a lover, and you need to find that man, and you need to marry him. I would rate Yearning or I Don't Give a Fuck a 4 out of 5 stars. I love romance books, but where's the magic? Where's the fairies? Where are the dragons? If it was Romantasy, that's a 5 out of 5. Thank you, goodbye. The girls that get it, get it. That's all I gotta say. Category 3, I low-key guessed that halfway through, but thanks, I guess. The first book in this category is The Silent Patient. If this is your favorite book, you compare every thriller that you've ever read to the genuine shock that you experienced when you finished this book. You also made all your friends read this book because it has the best plot twist of all time. But if you're honest, you just haven't read a lot of thrillers. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is not the best thriller. I'm not judging you too harshly. My jaw was on the floor at the end, so maybe that's my bad. Let's move on. Next book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. If this is your favorite book, you genuinely think that you could use your so-called detective skills to solve an actual crime. A genuine murder. You think that you could solve one. Just because you can find out who your crush dated last? Girl, bye. But let's be honest, you're mainly here for Robbie. So does the murder really matter, or does the man matter more? The next book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. If this is your favorite book, you still think about whether the manuscript was real to this day. To this day. Isn't that a meme? You pretend that you're above petty drama, but you would absolutely snoop through a stranger's office and send pictures to your best friend. Do not lie to me. If you were in that office, you would be marking that shit up. You'd be highlighting and putting doodles. Like, you're sending that to your best friend. You're sending text updates every time you read a chapter. The next book is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. If this is your favorite book, you were already scared of men before you picked up this book, and this just made your fear even more real. But you also low-key feel like if you were in this situation, you would have escaped faster. Because why did it take her so long? That's all I'm saying. Why did it take her so long? You and me, we could low-key escape faster. I don't know how, but we could low-key do it, right? You feel that way, right? If this is your favorite book, you feel that way, low-key. The next book is They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. If this is your favorite book, you will always support women's rights. And more importantly, you support women's wrongs. And we love that about you. At one point, you literally said good for her with your whole chest. And you can't help but love a woman in a male-dominated field. So I low-key guessed that halfway through, but thanks, I guess, gets a 3 out of 5 stars. I still don't think I've found a good thriller yet. I don't know how many I've read, but I've yet to find one that I'm like, that's amazing. I need to recommend this to everybody. Like, I've never read a super good one. So if you have recommendations, comment them down below. Category 4 and the last category is Red Flags Are Just Flags When You Have Rose-Colored Glasses On. The first book in this category is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. If this is your favorite book, you have genuinely entertained the thought that maybe a stalker wouldn't be that bad. It might be actually kind of hot. Ew, why did I do that? You also told your friends you were reading it for the plot, but you know that was a damn lie. You weren't only reading it for the plot, and I know that about you. You'll also never be able to look at a house of mirrors or a gun the same ever again. You're never gonna be able to look at a gun and not think of that scene. If you know, you know. The next book is Punk 57. If this is your favorite book, you loved Wattpad as a kid, and this book takes you back to your roots. You also verbally said this is so unrealistic a few times while you were reading, but you secretly hoped someone at school would bully romance their way into your life. It is what it is. And the last book is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. If this is your favorite book, you honestly started to gaslight yourself that she was mature for her age, so that you could just enjoy the romance without thinking about the age gap. You're also aware that you wouldn't date a way older man, but a forbidden love with high stakes sounds kind of ideal. I would rate the category red flags are just flags when you have rose-colored glasses on a 3 out of 5 stars, because they're just so hit or miss. I either love it or I absolutely hate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed being read to filth. If you feel like my reading was accurate, leave me a comment. If you disagree with my very professional doctorate level analysis of your personality based solely on your favorite read, feel free to leave a hate comment explaining why I'm wrong, but make sure that you cite your sources in MLA format in the comments, or else your points are invalid and I'm correct. I have a couple other videos on my channel that are related to specifically BookTok content. So if you'd like to check those out, I'll link them at the end of the video. If you like this video, please leave me a like. And if you like me, consider subscribing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye! After all that, it's only fair that I do one about myself. So without further ado, if your favorite book is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, you related to Jacob so much that you literally cried when Brianna validated his struggles with social anxiety. You also screamed at fictional characters to just communicate, but at this point you're literally known for ghosting guys. And you believe that if someone writes you a love letter, it's practically the same as them signing a legally binding marriage document. Don't use this shit against me, or else. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you liked this video as much as I liked filming it. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!